Ever feel like you're running your business in a vacuum? Are you struggling to stay motivated, keep your goals on track, or simply wish you had someone to bounce some ideas off that understands? You know, you're not alone. Studies show that individuals are 65% more likely to achieve a goal when they commit to another person. Welcome to Dollars and Dreams, the podcast designed to empower you to take control of your personal and business finance. You know, the very thought of money and finance can often send chills down your spine and stir up fear of the unknown. But let's change that narrative together. Through this podcast, my goal is to not only to provide you with useful information, but also to inspire and motivate you to take action towards your own financial goals. Let's rewrite your money story together. Well, hello and welcome to today's episode of Dollars and Dreams. Today's episode is something that many small business owners forget about or don't take seriously, and it's about finding your support network or your accountability buddy, as we call it in the accounting world. And it is important as a small business owner that you do find a network of people that are in a similar position as you, because so many people don't understand the pressures that come with running a small business. And if you're in that micro business, so you've got no employees or you don't have any support staff, it is particularly hard because you're wearing all the hats. You know, you're looking after the marketing, the sales, the accounting, the bookkeeping, the generating the revenue, chasing up debtors, paying bills. And it can get really overwhelming. And in amongst that overwhelm, we will find that small business owners forget to look forward and look at the plans for their business, how they can get to a point where they're not wearing all the hats in the business. So whether that's outsourcing, and it might be you get yourself a bookkeeper who can send out all your invoicing and chase up your debtors, so people that owe you money, but also to do the bookkeeping side of things to make sure that you've got money set aside. But in the meantime, it can be really lonesome, I guess, as a business owner. You know, we go into business because we wanted freedom mostly. So it's freedom from having to do the 9 to 5 or the 7 to 3, whatever your occupation is. But it's also you wanted the freedom to be able to work on your own terms, freedom of financial restraints. And quite often as small business owners, we find the opposite. You know, everybody says go into business and you find yourself working 24/7, even if you're not in the coalface 24/7, you're constantly thinking about what your next steps are, what you've got to do to get out of the situation that you're in, that you work all the hours yourself and do everything yourself. So it can be really difficult because, you know, we all find that when we're thinking of things, it gets really stuck in our head, and it's like you're a bit like a hamster on a wheel. You don't know where to get off, how to change things. And that's because you're not looking at your business from the outside in. And I always talk about the importance of stopping and working on your own business 2 or 3 hours a week. And, you know, I always say that because it lets you get your head out of your business. And it lets you look at what you need to do and the steps that you need to do to make sure that your business is sustainable, that it's not consuming your life and your money, and also so that you can look at it objectively. And that can be difficult because I get it. As small business owners, we're really just trying to keep our customers happy or our consumers happy so that our business model keeps working for us. But without looking from the outside in, you become really fixated, or, you know, what I say, you can't see the forest for the trees. So an accountability buddy will actually not only force you to do that, because that's what we'll do, they actually get you to, or they should if they're a good accountability buddy, get you to think laterally rather than just vertically. Quite often we just get into these silos of our business. We go, we need to go A, B, C, D, produce the product out the door. If you can get a good business coach that can get you to think laterally, and that means step to the side and see how you can do something different in your business, then that person will get you thinking. And of course, as an entrepreneur or a small business owner, you need to think differently to everybody else. And I find most people's first year in business, they'll be really enthusiastic. Their real passion is still there. They're really excited about what lies ahead. But once you get through that first year, it can become a drudgery where you're constantly just producing a product to sell, getting money, thinking about what needs to get done. You do your 9 to 5 day, you get home, you've got to try and do the invoicing or the quoting, you've got to follow up suppliers or whatever your business does. So then you do the business side of it. So what it ends up meaning is that a lot of business owners went into business because they thought that it would give them more freedom, and it actually becomes more consuming for them. So it's what we call the lone wolf syndrome. And this is where entrepreneurs or business owners feel like they're isolated, they're in this little silo of their business world, and they don't know how to change that. They feel very consumed and overwhelmed with everything that's got to get done, because unlike when you're in a traditional employment role, you would be surrounded by other workmates. Even if you were a single employee, there was still the business owner. There was still the support staff. I mean, rarely would anybody be employed to wear all the hats like you do in your own small business. But you have this sense that you no longer have anybody there that's got your back. And that's the thing that, we always say to all of our small business owners: find a network, find people who are in the same situation as you or have stepped up from that situation and can be a really good mentor for you. There's so many group coaching programs, or there's so many Facebook groups, but make sure that if you're going to get into a Facebook group, that it's people in the same situation as you. You don't want to be in one of these ones where they're at stage 9 of their business and you're at stage 2. The analogy that we quite often use is the first 5 years of your business, when you go into these coaching programs, you've got to think that you're on the on-ramp, and these other business owners are quite often on the freeway, traveling at 110 kilometres an hour. You've come off a 60k zone and you're just speeding up to join that speed that they're at. So find people that will help you with what you're trying to do. And that is something that we take very seriously here with our business coaching programs. We get people that come into those coaching programs and they never join the Zoom calls. They never join the Facebook group. They try to DIY it. And they think that the magic comes from, I've watched the modules, I've done the work. And that's not where the magic happens with your business. The magic happens where you can say, I'm actually not sure, should I do A or should I do B? And your support network should come back and say, what's the pros and cons of each? What's the downside? And I only did a coaching call with a client the other day, and she was at the point that she wasn't quite sure. She decided that she didn't want to do this consulting work that she was doing for other people's business, and she wanted to do her own. But then when she went through and did all the modeling on it to work out whether she could make money, how many products she needed to sell a week or a month, she all of a sudden got a call from somebody who was a friend of a friend and was looking for somebody to work in their business. And so, of course, then she says to me, now I don't know, I was going to go all full on in my own business. I've done my forecasting. I think I can make it. This is what my net wealth will be at the end of 12 months. And all of a sudden she had this, and so she threw the doubt, and just working through with her, and this was a one-on-one call with a client. So I worked through with her and I said, what's the end game for you? Do you want the flexibility of having your own business, or do you still want to be dictated as an employee? And she sort of went, I don't know. I want the comfort and the security of that, but I don't want to have somebody tell me what days of the weeks I work. And so she still hadn't made a call on what that was going to be by the end of our call. And rarely is it, because all you're doing when you're in an accountability program is having somebody to give you something to think about. Don't go into an accountability program where that person gives you the answers, because that's not your answers. And you need to be very clear that whatever direction you take with your businesses is what suits you and your business and your lifestyle and yours only. So I can't sit here and say to you, you need to do A, because that's not necessarily what's for you. I will give you the questions that you need to ask, the things that you need to think about. I'll give you the objective views of what your thoughts are, but a good accountability coach will never tell you exactly what to do, because you never build that accountability to yourself. And whilst this podcast is about finding an accountability partner gets you to be accountable to yourself as well. So it is important that when you find a group that you are going to use, or an accountability partner that you want to keep you on track, that you be very careful that all they're doing is being your guide. And we always say that there's 2 or 3 people in every relationship. You've got your hero, you've got your guide, and you've got your villain. So in the circumstances that we just talked about there, I would say your small business is the villain, because it is dragging you down because you're never finishing work. You're waking up in the middle of the night and stressing about your business, worrying whether you are going to be able to make ends meet, if you're going to be able to get enough money to pay the bills for next month, where the next sale's coming from, how you're going to find time to chase up new suppliers because the other suppliers not doing what they should be doing, or giving you a product that you're happy with. So the villain, of course, in that scenario is your business, because it's the one that is just all-consuming. It's the one that's making your life difficult. The accountability partner is the guide. So that's the person that says, well, have you thought about calendar blocking? Let's get 3 hours set aside where you tell your consumer that you're booked out for that 3 hours. So treat your own business as a consumer. So I always say to my clients here, I have Mondays is my admin day, the day to run my business, do the meetings with all my segments of my business and the leaders of my segments. And it's where I stop and think about my business, and I be the guide to my own business. And so Mondays are generally, unless there is something really specific, I just say my calendar's booked out that day. And the reason that it is booked out is because I am looking after my own business. And I always say, for me, it's me doing the same thing that I would do for a client. I'm treating my business as a client. And so when I honor that calendar block and I say, my business is just as important as my client's business, I couldn't see client B if I'd already booked in time with client A. We would just say we are booked out. So when you treat your own business as a client and you give it the love that it needs, the same as you would give your paying clients, then your business will be okay. So the hero, of course, is the business owner. So when I'm coaching my clients, I'm not the hero. I'm not there to give them the answer. I'm there to give them the thought process, the accountability to make sure they make a decision. So I may say to them, they've got this decision to make, whatever it is. And I might say, I will ring you 1 week from today and I want to know what your thoughts are, what decisions you've made. And so being the guide, what I've done is I've set a time limit for them. Because we all know if we don't have a time limit to doing something, time just spreads on and we don't actually do anything. We just move to the next project. A week's time has come and gone and we're no further on down the track. So a good accountability partner will give you the thought process, not the answers, but then will set you a limit on when you need to make a decision. And they will follow you up so that you can't forget about it. Now, if you come back in a week's time and your accountability partner rings you and says, what's your decision? You go, I haven't had time. That's on you. That is on you for not taking your business seriously. But when that accountability partner says, rightio, we're not moving on until we make that decision because we can't, that decision then flows on to other decisions. So what that does is then not only are you accountable to your own business and it makes you do what you need to do with your business, it also makes sure that you're putting one foot in the front of the other and walking the direction that your business needs to be. An accountability partner will not only give you that direction, but will also stop that lone wolf syndrome that we had. You know, a good accountability partner, you should be able to pick up the phone and go, really struggling with this, sorry, can I have 10 minutes of your time? Or jump into your Facebook group or whatever the support mechanism you've picked and go, hey guys, I can't make a decision, I've got brain fade, can somebody help me? If you are in a good accountability group, you will get the answer from someone, because we all realize when we're in these groups, or we should realize, it's not about take. It's about give, take. And I'm in an accountability group now for a course that I'm doing. And the condition to asking a question is that you have to give two answers first. So when you come on and you go, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I need somebody to help me with this, you have to go and find two questions within that group and put your answers in to help them, because otherwise you end up with group members that are only taking and not giving. And of course, if everybody's taking and not giving, nobody gets any help. So be very careful with your accountability groups. And it's something in my business coaching group courses that I do, is that when I jump in once a week into our Zoom calls and things, I'm there for the next hour to answer your questions. But if you've got other questions through the week, you just pop them in to the common group chat and somebody will answer it, whether it be me, one of my support staff, or even one of the other group participants. Because if people are at the same stage that you are, they have been through that. They've got the answer. They want to be able to help. And of course, we all know that being in small business is an emotional roller coaster. You know, you have the real highs where you're buzzing because you've got that contract or that sale that you wanted. Everything seems to have gone right. The next minute you're riding that downhill roll of the roller coaster before you hit the bottom. Now, if you're at the top of your roller coaster, somebody else is at the bottom of theirs. And so being able to give that guidance to other people is really important. And in giving and answering, we often find an answer for ourselves. You know, I've done that. I'm in a support group on Facebook that's just for accountants, because I'm a sole practitioner here. And sometimes, as I said, it's the lone wolf syndrome. I have no other head accountant. You know, I just have staff that I can bounce ideas off them, but sometimes it's about business direction. And so I just pop a question there, going, I'm not quite sure what to do here. What do you guys think? Within a matter of 5-10 minutes, I've got answers back. There'll be conflicting answers sometimes because everybody has different opinions on the same answer. And so what that does is it gives me a few different viewpoints so that I can go, actually, that's the direction that I think I want to go, not that one person's ideas. And so being able to bounce those ideas when you're on that emotional roller coaster can be a great support so that you don't get that overwhelming feel with your business. And the other side of being in business is sometimes we get what is decision fatigue. You know, every single day as small business owners, we have to make decisions. And when you're an employee, you get handed your run sheet, you get told what jobs you've got to do. You don't have to make too many decisions. But as a business owner, every single day, you're making some decision in some form, whether that be a massive big, what direction am I taking? What supplier am I going to use? Am I going to accept this contract? What quotes do I need to do? How do I market my business so that I am constantly building my pool of income sources? They can be quite draining, and sometimes you go home, and I'm sure you all feel this if you're in a small business on your own, that your head feels like it's going to explode. Your brain has not turned off. You are constantly making decisions, and you get home and you think, now I've got to decide what I want for dinner. And I get that. I'm in this growth phase with this digital platform stuff that I'm doing. And I've still got my physical business here that I run. So my 8:30 to 5 is running this business, looking after my clients, because I can't walk away from those clients. They need me, and they need me to be there for them. My staff need me in that 8:30 to 5. So I'm trying to get that run more efficiently, trying to do all the things that I need to do here. But at the same time, I'm constantly looking for what I want to do through this digital platform. I'm researching what my business owners want help with so that I can do podcasts like this that's there to help a wider range of people that I can have come into my physical premises here. And I'm very open that this digital platform, I want to be able to help 10,000 small business owners and 10,000 women build their financial literacy, because being a small business owner is the toughest gig that you will ever do in business. Because as I said at the start of the podcast, you are running all the hats. You have every single hat on. And even if you have one or two employees that are support staff, you're still making all those decisions. You're still looking at the direction of the business, looking at who your ideal customer is, and all those things that you need to do. But you're not getting any help with the decision making. So it can get very overwhelming. It also gets to the point that sometimes you can have your head buried in the sand and you're not getting any objective feedback on your decisions. So if you've got 2 or 3 business partners and you come to the boardroom table and you go, got a great idea, guys, this is what I want to do. And they might say, sounds great. Have you done your modelling? Do you know if it's going to be okay? Or what we call our SWOT analysis. So that's our strengths, our weaknesses, our opportunities, and our threats. Have you done your SWOT analysis on this? Because you don't want to just jump boots and all into an idea without researching. 1, to see if the market wants it. 2, if you've got too many competitors out there, what opportunities are there for you? And, is it financially viable? So that objective feedback can make you go back and do the research, and then you pull it apart. And so you get some great objective feedbacks when you have partners. If you are on your own, you need that accountability partner to do that. And in my course, Pathways to Profit, which is all about teaching small business owners how to be better at their business, we go through and we look at what your mindset is, because quite often we go in with a very closed mindset that this is what I want, this is what I need. But also because of the struggles, we do start to doubt ourselves. So, we look at the mindset, we look at understanding your financials, because whether you like it or not, as a small business owner, business is about the numbers. So you need to be able to look at your profit and loss statement, look at your cash flow statement, look at your balance sheet, and be able to interpret the story that those numbers are trying to tell you. They are numbers, but they tell a story, so much more than if somebody was to talk to you about your business. You also need to be able to do a projection forward, but it's got to be realistic. I've seen so many people do a cash flow projection forward or a forward forecast, and the numbers just don't even make sense. And we're not looking for something to be accurate, because so many business owners will say to me, but how do I know what the future is? It's about projecting what you believe with a little bit of a stretch target, because that will make you want to achieve it, and it sets targets, and that makes you accountable to your own business. And so in Pathways to Profit, which you can find that it's a business coaching course, it's all done with online course material, all the worksheets and things that you need, but it's also done with me on a weekly Zoom call so that you can ask the questions. I will get you to put in what you need to be accountable for so that we can hold each other's hands all the way through the course. So jump on over to my website, jenrichardson.co, and have a look at Pathways to Profit. So if you're ready to grow your business and you need an accountability partner to make you look from the outside in on your business, help you identify the blind spots that exist within your business, because, you know, I even have blind spots, and I've got accountability partners everywhere in my business because I need those to make me stay on track. But an accountability partner is so much more than just a cheerleader. They're not there just to go, yes, great work, Jen, you did what you wanted to do. That is just what family's for. So talk to your partner at home, your life partner, talk to your kids, talk to your parents, talk to your mates. They're the cheer squad. An accountability partner there is there to challenge you, to encourage you to think outside the square, encourage you to believe that you can be more than what you think you are at the moment. And they're a committed partner to challenge you to step outside your comfort zone, because as much as we hate stepping outside our comfort zone, that is where growth happens, and that is what happens with our business to take us to the next level, whether that be financial next level or being able to have freedom to stop work 4 days a week, being able to have more time with your family, or to take up a lifestyle project that you've wanted to do. And a business coaching course or an accountability buddy should be the one that, as I said, is guiding you. You still need to make the decisions, but they're there to bounce the ideas off and to keep you accountable to what you need to do. A business coaching or accountability group session should very much be a collaborative approach. Don't go into one of these accountability ones just saying, just tell me what to do, because that's an employee. Go be an employee. If you want to be told what to do on a day-to-day basis, go be an employee for somebody. Being a small business owner means you need to make decisions. So you do not want to go into a coaching course or expect in that coaching course that you will just be told you need to do A, B, C, D, and E will happen. Because for your business, you might only need to do A, B, and C, and D might be the end product. So your mentors or your business coach or your accountability buddy needs to be strong enough to drive you, needs to be forceful enough without being aggressive, but needs you to understand that it is up to you to do what needs to be done. An accountability buddy should be a safe space for you to let go of your vulnerabilities. They are there to not push you down. They're there to be a sounding block. They should be celebrating the wins with you, but without judgment of when you don't reach your goal or your target. So it's about then reverse engineering with that accountability buddy or business coach to work out why you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve. So I know when I first started working with an accountability coach a few years ago, I set myself these targets. Looking back, I was far too aggressive with those targets. And I remember at the time my business coach said to me, "Do you think that's achievable?" It was a question. That's all it was. And I said, yep, of course it is. And the next bit was, but you've still got your business to run. How are you going to do all of this plus that work that needs to be done on an 8:30 to 5 basis? It was the start of me calendar blocking, and it was the start of me not achieving what I wanted to achieve in that very first 90 days that I went, okay, now I've got to look why I didn't achieve what I wanted. And it wasn't only that my stretch was a far too stretch, if that's English, I'm not sure that it is, but we'll go with it. It was about me thinking I could achieve more. I'm what we call an overachiever. I always think I can do more than I can do in the time that I have. And it's something that I struggle with. It's something that every single business coach I've had has to temper me with to try to get me to not look that I need to do everything next week. It's a work in progress, and it is something that I still do struggle. As I said earlier in this podcast, my aim is to be able to help 10,000 small business owners. And I realized I couldn't do that on my own, but I can do it through these business coaching courses that I'm doing. And this is passion for me. I remember how much of a struggle it was when I first started my business. I desperately looked for another accountant that would be a business coach. But at the time, the world was very different. People didn't tend to have a business coach. And when I reached out to a few other accounting firms to see if they would mentor me, it was very much viewed as a competitive thing. Why would I help another accountant be better at them because they'll take my clients? And I really struggled to find somebody, and I couldn't find anybody at the time that had gone through what I did, which is, I started my business from zero, and we all start our business from zero. But where an accounting firm's a little bit different, some people will take their clients from their employer because they've built that relationship. So they look at it as an opportunity to go and say to their clients, hey, look, I'm leaving, I'm starting my own business. You've only ever worked for me. Do you want to come with me? I made a decision when I left my last accounting practice where I was a manager that I was not going to take a single client. I gave that undertaking to the partners of the firm that I worked with. And when I started my practice, I started from zero. Most accountants, when they go and start their own practice, start with a few $100,000 worth of clients that they've taken from their employer. I just didn't sit comfortably with that. So I really struggled when I first started, and the business coaching has become such an important part of my business model because of that. So the benefits of a business coach or an accountability buddy is to be supercharged in your motivation, to keep you walking step by step. And, I always say, look at the two islands that you have, the island where you're currently living, the beautiful idyllic island that you see off at the horizon is where you want to be. And all you've got to do is find the path to get there. So an accountability partner will do that. And it is what we do inside our business coaching programs that we have through jenrichardson.co. So a business partner will keep you accountable. They'll stop you procrastinating. They'll keep you motivated. They're a sounding block for you, but you've got to make sure you get the right business coach. That just because one of your friends uses somebody, that doesn't mean that's the right person for you. There's different styles. There's different ways we use a business coach. So don't think that you have to work with the first one that you ever worked with. My first business coach, he didn't motivate me. He did not in one way. It seems like for me, he just wanted to collect his money every month. And when I would ring him, he'll go, yep, I'll ring you back tomorrow. I needed that help there and then. I paid very dearly for that coaching course. And after 4 months, I thought, I haven't grown because he hasn't kept me motivated. He hasn't kept me working towards the goals that I have. He hasn't done that real accountability and motivation and procrastination reversal that I was looking for. So I ended that one, and then I got another business coach, and that was a step up. He was the one that stopped me putting too many things on my bucket list that I wanted to achieve in my 90 days. He got me thinking that I could do things as long as I took them one step at a time. And I now have a little saying every time I feel overwhelmed, but also when I realize that I'm putting too many things on my to-do list, I have this saying, one day, one goal, one task. And the reason that I say it's one day is because we can only do what we can do in a day. We can't find another 6 hours in a day. We can't find another replica of us. So we only have one day to do what we can do. We have one goal, because if we're trying to work on more than one goal at a time, we fliff and flaff between them and we don't actually do anything. And if you have one goal and one task every day, after 7 days, so 1 week, you will have most of that goal done. If it's one task you've got to do each day, whether that be first thing in the morning before you head into the work, or whether you finish work earlier, whether you calendar block, half an hour every afternoon. I'm in a situation, as I said, I calendar block my whole week, but I have that ability because I have staff. I don't have to wear all my hats anymore, but do what works for you. Get an accountability buddy. So whether it's through my Pathways to Profit, where I can work with you, I can give you the accountability you need to stop the procrastination. But ultimately, the buck stops with you. So if you get an accountability buddy, they are only part of the process and part of this story. So I've got a checklist, which I will put where you're either watching or listening to this podcast. I'll also put it on our website, jenrichardson.co. So if you want to get an accountability buddy or a business coach, you can go through that checklist and look for the things that I think are really important to make sure you get somebody that you want to work with. Don't sign up for somebody's program or coaching or anything like that until you've had lots of discussions with them, because you need to be comfortable with them. If you're going to bare your heart and soul to them and you don't feel comfortable with them, you won't be answerable to them, you won't be accountable to them, they won't work with you. So if you're going to bare your heart and soul, be comfortable that you are stripped naked in some coaching and accountability programs. So that's it for today. Jump in and grab that download. It is really good. Some of the answers you may want to add to them, and questions that you want to ask your accountability buddy before you sign up for them. Or if you want to start the first process of getting an accountability buddy rather than a business coach, look in Facebook. There's heaps of groups that you can join. Please, though, do not join a negative group. Those ones that want to tear you down for doing something. Those ones that just want to tell you how good they are on what they've done. You are looking for somebody to support, guide, and hold your hand. Be very careful. I've been in some Facebook groups that I think, oh my God, all they're there is to tweet how good they are. Somebody's asked a question, so instead of helping, they're saying, oh, when I did it, I did this, that, and the other. Get out of those groups. You want somebody there that is going to give you options on how to grow, but you also need to give back to those groups. So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. I hope that has helped you, but I really cannot impress on you enough how much a business coach or an accountability buddy will help you grow your business. As I said, come join me in Pathways to Profit. It is my coaching program that is designed for small business owners only. So there's no one in this group that has lots of staff and lots of other partners. It's generally for anybody whose revenue is less than $1 million. So I want to keep it so that it is there for the small business owners, so that it's for people that are in the same stages of their business, which means that we're talking the same language, we're talking to the same people, and people can help each other. So jump on Pathways to Profit. You'll find it on my website, jenrichardson.co, under my Business Growth Academy website part. Out to me here if you have any questions, if you have any friends or colleagues that are small business owners that need help with being better at their business, send them my way, because I need to reach my target of 10,000 small business owners that I help. So that's it. Have a lovely week, and I'll talk to you or see you next week. Bye for now. Remember, the advice shared in Dollars and Dreams is general in nature and it does not consider your own personal circumstances. Dollars and Dreams is for educational purposes only and should not be relied upon to make investment or financial decisions. If you need more help, please reach out to a financial advisor for tailored personal advice. Don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future content. And please leave me a review. Your feedback really helps me to reach other people chasing their money dreams. You can find me over on Facebook and Instagram to connect with me. You will find the link in the bio or head over to my website at jenrichardson.co where you will find free content and learning tools.